Hey, After Buzzers. Welcome back to the Good Doctor After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight, we are breaking down Season 2, Episode 14, Faces. Glassman, Assman, and Smurf get the munchies, while the rest of our residents and surgeons come together for a very intense surgery. Also, we have an incredible special guest tonight, so don't you go anywhere.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah!
That's
Hello,
right.
everyone. Welcome back to the Good Doctor After Show. We are so excited to be back with you. We have another great show for you. And joining me today, always, we have the lovely...
Hey, what's going on? Jaimi Alexander in the building.
Hi, everybody. I am Taquaila Jackson.
And of course, we have been teasing it. We have a very special guest today, and that guest is a top surgeon. Nicholas Gonzalez is joining us today over Skype. Hey! Thank you. I know we kind of already mentioned this, but thank you again so much for joining us. We appreciate it. The fans appreciate it, and we'd love to get your insight throughout the course of this show.
I'm really excited, and what a great episode to follow.
Oh my gosh. So Simran, our guest from last week, gave us a fair warning that tears would be coming this week, and Taquaila has been like, I haven't cried yet. So
I did this
I
episode.
have to follow up. Ladies, the tears, did they come? Did we get tears?
You got fireworks. Yes.
Fireworks?
You got them. They were good too. Like, I wish, they came in full effect, and we'll get to that
was
shortly.
the mother. The actress that played the mother was just, I mean, she was the reason for all my tears last week.
Mm-hmm.
Same here.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. She was just, her performance was so heartbreaking. Like, my heart broke for her all the way. So, yeah, she gave me the tears. All the feels.
Yeah, definitely. And Nicholas, what was it like filming this episode as a whole? Was it very emotional on set because of, the tear-jerking performances and, just the content of the episode? What was it like?
It really was. I mean, each episode, it's like on a very special Good Doctor. Everything is, there's drama and all. But I have to say that, there was something, there was like a reverence almost with this episode. I think everybody was hit. There's a few parents, in the cast, me being one of them, and the idea of that happening to your child, the idea of it happening to a child, the idea of it happening to a person at all, and being in that situation is already so heartbreaking. And especially, the Walk of Honor.
Yes,
that's what did it.
That's what got me, yeah.
That was hard not to just feel that, and I mean, it was. And at one point, this might make you feel better and make everybody stop crying so much. At one point, the actress who was playing the daughter in the bed, she was like, I think she had like a bunch of snot on her forehead from Mom going down. So emotional. Mama was crying so much. She was like. It was real. It was real emotion. And what was so interesting is that same day my daughter came to visit, and I have this video, and I posted it, I think it was on Instagram, but of her running down the hallway and everybody clapping. Think about it at the time, but like such a strong image, is something that I hold so precious that, I can't imagine. I'm getting choked up thinking about it, but we enjoyed that day surrounded by everybody. And I think a lot of reverence paid to that episode.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, to spend time with everybody in a lot of episodes, we kind of have our 2 to 3 different storylines where the main cast is all kind of broken up and doing different scenes. For this particular episode, the majority of your cast was in that same scene. And how was it to kind of finally be together working with everybody?
For one, it was great just to see everybody. Because a lot of times when, as you say, our storylines kind of break us up and, we have families, and when we're trying to put together the filming schedule, that can get in the way. So I think the fans like to see everybody together, and there's big excuses. We had it with the craniophagus twins, the girls that were like these bigger surgeries that we just came off of one in 217 that is just so good. That we had to team up for as well. So I think that's always fun. And this being around each other was hilarious. I mean, it's funny because we're not always acting for everybody. And in these scenes we were, so like everybody's in the room when you're up doing your thing. And so sometimes it's funny and we give each other a lot of grief, but it was a blast, especially watching Hill Harper had so much, to do and so many presentational things as president, and we all could just sit back in the back and chuckle. And I think they actually caught a bit of that. We're like, I'm looking at Lim, and it looks like we're being all serious about the surgery, but we're like probably grabbing at each other or something.
Yeah. And something so great about this show that we've talked about is how this show, for being a medical drama, always seems to kind of have a light at the end of the tunnel. There aren't too many cases that end badly. In this particular episode, it did, but it kind of turned around and had a positive outlook. And I don't know, ladies, and then Nicholas, kind of getting your opinion on what did we think about it, and that at the beginning, the Shannon lost her daughter Karen, but it kind of turned into this miracle that her daughter was able to save someone else's life by giving her this one-in-a-lifetime face transplant. What did we kind of think about that balance?
I think it was great up until first. I was annoyed, like you asked parents, and I know it has to be hard as a doctor to want to donate their significant other's organs. And at the time, they're so emotional, everything. At least for me, I was like, no, because the emotional state, and you're still in shock that the person has passed. But then I think it was so great that you get on the elevator and you assume that this might be the child, and then your heart feels for this child, and you're like, well, what better gift can I go ahead and give her? And so for me, I always, like we just said, love the balance of the two with this show, and the writers do such a great job of leaving you heartfelt and compassion for what's going on.
Yeah, I have to say what I really liked. For a second there, I did think the episode was going to become a little bit more about like Lim and Melendez, because she made that call in the beginning, and I wasn't sure if it was the right one. And I didn't know if we were going to start to see some contention between those two characters, but it was really nice to see that the focus was more on the patients, and that you did have this moment. And, so there was a couple moments. I like the way that the mother at the end noticed that it was a little bit staged, that they went into the elevator at the same time, which I didn't think so at the time, but I was like, that was convenient.
I thought it was too.
It's like, one of those miracle moments.
Yeah, and I thought that was so great. But just the way everybody stuck together to orchestrate this beautiful ending, seeing as how there was no hope for the 14-year-old girl who got, banged up in the backseat of the car. It was nice to see that there was still, like you said, light at the end of the tunnel. So that was tragic. However, it was nice to see everybody come together so that, other homegirl could get a new face.
And I think the commonality between the two is that they both played soccer, right? So when they were able to see, I think they mentioned it prior, and then the mother showed her and Karen's book for the patient. Is that correct, Doctor? Dr. Melendez.
Dr. Melendez.
I was going to do that. Is that correct, Nick? There we go. Now we're friends.
If she was what
both the patients played soccer.
Oh, well, they were talking about, she was talking about the Quakes, the San Jose Quakes. So,
right. Okay, so, or if they didn't play, they were interested in soccer, and that was the common.
Soccer, kind of like, that album to see what her past was, and I mean, whoa.
And that was heartfelt for me as well, yes.
Yeah, and people thought, it was funny, I saw some of the reaction on Twitter, and they're like, oh my God, did that woman just how weird is that? Did she just get a book about her daughter? I'm like, no, actually, I mean, it is that kind of, it's not weird, it's that next step that maybe if in real life wouldn't happen and you want to happen, or you would hope, and that's what we want to see. And I think it's such an amazing moment that I wouldn't have thought of that. Did that? I just thought, what a beautiful gift both ways, and then her saying goodbye was the only call for me.
Yeah, man.
Well, going off of what Jaimi was saying, kind of how we thought a little bit, we would have gotten a little bit more story with Lim and Melendez. How was it when you read that scene, kind of, that she was, do you think she was, her character was sabotaging the relationship? And ladies as well, did you think she was sabotaging the relationship because she was like, you're second guessing yourself, which makes me second guess me, because she's not kind of used to being in this type of committed relationship? It's secret, but committed, if that makes sense.
Well, I think take the gender out of it if you can for a second, and I think also that here is a person who is very high achieving surgeon, and we've sold her to be at the level that we've seen of Melendez. We have to get more out of, we didn't have as much time with her character as we had with mine, so we've tried to show you that and give a little bit of a background of our respect for each other, which is immense, which says something as well about her. but here is a person who's achieving at that high level that it's a serious concern. I think the same concern that as much as I wanted a child with Jessica in the first season, even when she finally says, "Gosh, do you think we made a mistake?" and tries to come back and is open to have a child, I say, you know what? Being arrogant isn't going to help me be a better husband. It's going to make me be a great surgeon, but it's not going to help me be a better husband. And essentially him saying like, and that's what I'm interested in being right now. And let's not take that away from her. You know, relationship's relationship. You know, I mean, that's as much as love we want to see pop up. She's got aspirations, and she should, and ambitions. She should. She's deserving of them. So I think a very real question for her to have is, I can't be wondering and like gingerly stepping around your opinion and worrying that you're gonna, that we're gonna make a mistake because we're not being ourselves. And that's part of who we are in our relationship together, is a contention and a respect. Someone you respect enough to fight with about things. Well.
Yeah, what I definitely liked about it is that Lim is very strong, and there's not much you can take away from her character as like the woman or like the girl he's sleeping. You don't get that from her. She's definitely very,
she's strong.
Yeah, she's strong in her space. But what I love, so they know here I got a little crush on Dr. Melendez. I know in real life you are very, and I respect all of that. But I'm just like, okay, what I love about Melendez is that he is very mindful, and he's always checking on her in a certain way. And I kind of like the fact that for once he wasn't the right person. I understood he didn't have to be correct, and I understood why she was second guessing, but I also like this softness and more openness that he's getting, because I think it's making him a better doctor. And I like the way they're kind of meeting in the middle, and then at the end how he's like, well, do you want to stop seeing each other? And she's like, no, not all that. We don't want to stop, And so I think with these strong characters, we're getting an amazing chance to balance out and meet in the middle. And I think they're both being very cautious and careful to not ruin what they've got going on in the doctor's office and with their careers. I think it's a beautiful balance. I'm so here for it.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Jaimi, because when Dr. Melendez asked that question, I thought it was from fear of his past relationship from last season and what he may have thought. You put in time and effort, and do you find out these major differences, and now you have to dissipate the relationship. But when Dr. Lim said no, I was so excited. Also, just to have on TV where you see couples have arguments, but then they regroup, set boundaries, and still work it out. I thought that was great. At least for me, it got me excited. So I'm still looking forward to this relationship progressing.
And I mean, speaking of balance, as TV viewers, we love our dramas, but we also need some comedy thrown in there, maybe a little bit sci-fi. And Jaimi can give you a little bit more on that.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So before we go on to our next topic, we just wanted to say thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV talk. And for us to continue to grow, we could totally use your help. So if you're on YouTube right now, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, do whatever you have to do. If you're on iTunes, give us 5 stars, a little 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, please leave us a comment so you can get involved in our conversation. So being a part of AfterBuzz has meant so much to all of us here, and we truly appreciate your support in us doing what we love. So don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows. And we also have a shout out for some of the fans from last week. So Emma Hale, shout out to you. Thank you so much for everything and for watching. And same with Danielle Harris.
And also in the chat with us, we have Jazz 41173, Coffee_Time, Chels M90. Thank you all for joining in and chatting with us during this episode.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, everybody. So Nick, there is a segment we actually do on this show quite frequently where we highlight a real life good doctor. And we'll get to that a little bit later, but the reason I wanted to bring it up now was because a couple of our episodes previously, we highlighted a doctor who works at NYU Landgoing Medical Center who did do a face transplant, very similar to last night's episode, very similar, kind of the same, the reason for the injury was a gunshot wound, very similar to the story from last night.
Suicide, right?
He was attempted,
yeah. And I was going to ask, like, was there any insight of you pulling from real life stories like this?
Always. Oh no, these are all. I mean, all of these are stories you can take. The one with the craniophagus twins with the single sagittal vein that were attached. the woman who played my scrub nurse doing that surgery did the real surgery.
What?
Wow.
One of the surgeons, in that big team of like 14 that did it. So no, all of ours are pretty much what, they're not all just dreamed up. I mean, there's a lot that's taken straight out of the headlines, and that specifically, and it was tweaked a little bit. The reasoning for the girl was an accident, because we just felt like it supplanted things a little bit more than leaving it as something that she committed suicide or attempted, and that's why other people probably would have contention over whether she was deserving or not, and we just figured that wasn't the story we were trying to tell. So
Makes sense.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful story, this episode. One of the other storylines that happened this season was, of course, Dr. Glassman, Glassy, and Shaun getting high.
Love.
Now, Nick, we love seeing the chance for our surgeons and our residents outside of the hospital. When you guys were kind of doing a table read for this, were you laughing? Were you like, man, I wish I had this storyline at some point?
Oh, I mean, as soon as that came along, yeah, it was all the possibilities, and Freddie already, at the table read already was coming up with things he wanted to do or try. It's one of those things also that I think if you watch as a viewer, watching people play drunk or play high, just so many people just don't get it, and I felt like they got it.
They got it.
They got it.
Watch, But it was funny. It was funny. You could tell that they were having a blast. Yeah. That's for sure.
And did we have a blast watching it, ladies?
Yes, absolutely. There was a couple really cute parts. First of all, I really like to see Glassman relax.
Yes.
Anytime he's feeling like he can just kick back and have a moment. I love that they were tearing up the house. Great. Yeah. So, and then there was another part. It was really cute with the guy Robin and with the girl Robin. And right when they got the cookie and Shaun pops the cookie and he's like, "This is Robin's favorite snack," and just the look on his face. It was just the cutest thing. I watched it 3 times. So I just thought it was really cute and fun. They are just adorable. I love Shaun. He's so sweet.
And I love when Dr. Glassman actually goes. I was shocked at first that he actually allows Shaun to partake in. What were they, gummy bears they were taking?
I was in a chocolate-covered gummy bear.
Yeah, I mean, that
There
might
was
be
some form of edible.
I might be giving myself away a little bit.
It was gummies.
Okay, yeah, so he gave him a gummy, and he was like, one for boredom and one for nausea. And I was like, oh, yes, that was my favorite part, too. But just to see them both letting their hair down and just have. Only other thing was that Uber driver, God bless her heart.
God bless that
We
Uber
went
driver.
from San Jose to Portland, all for happy. Well, I won't say all for happiness, because it did give Dr. Glassman a little bit of peace. But I think they probably would have, after the 4th or 5th stop, and they didn't have the cookies, I would be like, okay, guys,
y'all gotta
this
get out.
Uber ride is over.
Yeah, you get out the car.
Yeah, that was Mo Gaffney.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, like you're saying, bless her heart for just sticking with it. She stuck with, but then again, they're like, we're paying you.
Yeah, you got a point.
And Nick, are you kind of hoping for or looking forward to in future episodes, you kind of get a moment outside of your character, rather gets a moment outside of the hospital as well?
I think everybody looks forward to that. It's a little break from the norm, and we all get excited for it. I mean, that's the thing, is like people crave the story and crave a little bit of the backstory, but I think we have an identity that we meet those kind of things out. I as a show, you have to pay attention to things, or there's little things that are dropped, but there's always little kernels, and I feel like for a lot of fans, it's always not enough, which is a good thing too. So we love those moments. I think everybody loves playing that, but I'm, kind of the workhorse also, I think, when it comes to the medicine. I like doing it. So,
Yeah. Well, speaking of medicine, too, we've talked about on the show how there's so much medical jargon and terminology just thrown out that we as viewers find it very difficult to keep up with. You as an actor, do you ever find it difficult to come up with? How much research do you do to like actually understand what you're talking about?
I like to know what I'm talking about. Some of the guys make fun of me about it, or not make fun, but they're like, the opposite sometimes with it. But yeah, I like. I'm interested in what it is. It overwhelms me when you do research it and you start to say, oh, let me see if I can understand this, and you very quickly get lost in just the terms. But it's something I grew up around, and I seem to feel really comfortable with it. But that being said, yeah, I mean, I'm also getting older and trying to remember lines, let alone the crazy stuff I have to say. And somehow in the end, I pull it out. But there's many a blooper reel that can be made of you trying to get lines right.
We should see
where can
those
we get
one day.
that? Yeah. Where can we find that?
There is a really funny one that's on the DVD of the first year, but I mean, who has DVDs anymore? Or I don't even know. Like, if you buy it digitally, do you then get the gag reel too? But I know it's on there.
YouTube links anywhere? Maybe?
What's that?
YouTube links anywhere? Maybe, possibly.
I mean, I've already seen it. It's good.
It's like, of course it's good. I'm in it.
Right.
It's hilarious. It's funny.
So kind of, since we have you here, Nick, just to kind of give us maybe some ideas for next week's episode, we see in the promo that a new chief of surgery has come to St. Bonaventure after obviously Dr. Andrews kind of needing to give his priority to one thing. And we know that there's this big, or at one point in time, there was this big competition between Dr. Lim and Dr. Melendez for chief of surgery. And ladies too, any theories about how this new chief of surgery is going to change the workflow around the hospital? Is it going to maybe make the residents and the surgeons more competitive with each other? Is everyone going to get more tense? Kind of just throwing out some theories, possibly.
Those are wonderful theories. And
Yeah.
you're exactly right on so many of them.
So we basically said it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It could, for some reason, I think there could be a little bit of a vibe how when Morgan came on board and there was a little bit of contention between her and Claire just because their differences in personalities and things like that. So I think they'll definitely offer up maybe one or two nuances about this character that's going to offer up a lot of opposition to at least a couple of the characters. So you're having this, contention between them that's kind of like, is this going to be resolved? Are we going to be able to fix this? And then maybe they'll get along perfectly great with someone else. I really can't tell, but they'll definitely have, I think flavor that will make some of the other castmates uncomfortable.
And that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, who will it come in? Who was the person? And when they come in, who are they going to clash with and for what reason? Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of people also who are all trying to do, their best in front of now, someone else they have to impress. And, it also brings us together in kind of our union against him because he's brought in because me, Lim, and Murphy are in trouble from the quarantine.
Oh,
things,
right.
So we're all under review. And so that's why they had to bring someone from outside. So
what if this someone doesn't last? Should we save that for predictions? I don't know. I just thought about maybe the someone that's coming in is going to come in and go right back out.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Well, we have had this theory that we kind of mentioned it earlier that The Good Doctor is such a positive show for a medical drama because there are so many that kind of show a lot of characters be written off, so to speak. And so far, as we had mentioned this way, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, but we feel like something big is coming. Someone is going to be written off, and we don't know if it could be a main character, or we don't know if it could be this new chief of surgery who comes in for an episode and then leaves. We just have so many theories about what this finale will hold because it's been kind of very pleasant this season in terms of just not a whole lot of,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. I'm at a loss for words right now.
He's not. That's not the day to have it. No, he's not around for just one episode.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
So we can ensure that.
I wonder if they're gonna get along with Shaun. Maybe Shaun will. I don't know. I'm just thinking about things like, well, maybe Shaun will have something going on with them. Maybe they won't be able to communicate because that'll be new for this new person coming on board. Maybe there'll be some adjustments there.
Great. And so I just kind of have one question to throw at you here, Nick. So we heard last week from Simran, we already know that Freddie kind of spent time in the writer's room, and we had heard that he will be directing an upcoming episode. Do you have any desire to want to expand your horizons and maybe write a little bit or direct an upcoming episode as well?
I would definitely love to direct. Yeah, I mean it's something that I've taken more and more of an interest on, especially since doing the show. So many wonderful directors to watch, and and shadow a bit. And that's something I would love to do in the future.
Well, I mean, we look forward to that day where we can see your name under directed by. Definitely.
Look, and I love this group. I mean, if there's anybody I'd love to do it with, it's this group of people. They're just they're very, very supportive. They're a very supportive family.
Great. And so now I think this would be a good time to also go into our special segment. As I had mentioned earlier, Nick, we do a special segment here on the Good Doctor After Show where we like to highlight real-life good doctors, and not just doctors. They can be nurses, they can be technician, anyone who's really making strides in the medical field. And of course, you know, these people do such great work that they do inspire shows such as yours. So we like to give them a little shout out, and Taquaila can take it away.
Yes. So for our extraordinary doctor this week, we're going to highlight Dr. Alec Patel. He is a pediatrician and also a media expert. He fell in love with the young generation. He believes that he needed to offer world's greatest resources and deserves and the younger generation deserves to grow up as healthy adults. So he co-founded Healthy Youth, which emerges volunteers in global service projects. And after completing his residency, he had a passion for media as well. He figured that media and broadcast would be able to get his message out more clearly and a broader range. So he then works with ABC News Unit to create a health lab. It's a multimedia platform to address every health issue in experimental comedic ways. So he's a little comedy into his approach on how to reach the younger generation and kids who are his clientele, basically, or his patients, as being a pediatrician. He has discovered the profound impact of digital patient education and joined a startup company by the name of Medu Inc., which provides automated digital patient education for treatments and procedures. So let's give a shout out for Dr. Alex Patel.
Thank you,
My
Dr. Alex
pleasure.
Patel. Always love hearing how everyone's doing so well.
And I like the combination between the two. It's like, yes, you can do medicine, but you can combine it with broadcasting and entertainment, because that is a perfect way. If his, target is the youth, that's the way they're getting their information. So it's like a flip on WebMD.
Yes.
That makes it a little more fun and entertaining.
It doesn't make you question
If you're gonna
everything.
live,
If you're going to live, basically.
Getting the truth.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. And so we actually have some last bit of news that's very, very exciting. Nick, congratulations on a season 3.
Pregnant again?
What was that?
Oh, I thought my wife was pregnant again or something.
Oh, no.
Well, you wouldn't be getting that from us.
We would not be knowing that. We only know what people put out there.
That we can actually confirm. Yes.
Right. But no, congratulations on a season 3.
Yes. We're excited about it.
We're excited, and I'm sure you're excited, obviously.
So excited. So excited. I mean, we all, in some ways, expected, but at the same time, we're all gun-shy actors who have to hear it official to know, and it was a very happy day.
Yeah. Were you nervous at all? Like, I'm sure it's always nervous, kind of waiting for that official yes, because you never know.
It's annoying because you're just wondering why they always wait for so long, because what they don't realize is, we shoot up in Vancouver, and so we have to make a home here every year, and it's only for 8 months, and we have a child, and you decide to live here. There's so many decisions to be made, and they love to wait until like May, and we work in June. So it's
Oh, wow.
There's
so it's all nerve wracking. My wife's like,
Do we have any answers?
what are we
Can we
doing?
plan a little bit better?
I
in
know
the
we
future?
know, but we don't know, right?
Yeah.
So what are we gonna? I'm like, babe, I wish I did.
Still don't know.
You knew that when you got with me, baby. You knew it was gonna
you knew what it was.
You knew what you were getting into, kind of thing.
be. We hold close to one another.
Well, is there any final?
Don't cry.
What?
They said, "Don't cry for me."
Is there any final words you would like to say, or any? I know you can't really give anything away, but any thing you like to say about any?
I won't give away anything, but I will say that for one, just because the fans are watching, and I know that's what this is all about, and AfterBuzz and what you do, the ESPN of TV talk.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that just how appreciative we've been with the reception? I mean, people say you wouldn't be anything without the fans, but it's very true in this instance, and they've made it a hit, and they've made us be able to get together and tell the story. And I am just so personally grateful for it, because we have such an incredible family, and they care. They care about the subject. They care about the people that, like I said, are pulled out of the headlines. It's pulled out of real life, and they treat it with a lot of respect, and I love working with them. So I, for one, am grateful. So if I could just say that to everyone, that's one I'd say. And then as far as how exciting things coming up, I'm really loving the way the direction is going with Lim and Melendez.
Awesome.
And there's some real beautiful, grown-up, mature relationship stuff going on.
Yes.
I love that
excited.
so much.
I'm so ready. I'm
Yes.
so excited. Well,
It feels good, and it feels good to work with her, and I think Christina is killing it.
Well, speaking of appreciation, we appreciate you so very much for taking time, honestly. I know you're in the middle of filming right now, so we really appreciate you taking the time to Skype in with us, honestly. It means so much that you could be here with us tonight.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Where,
Yeah, it's awesome to hear you talk about it.
if the fans aren't already following you, where can they find you on social media?
I'm big Instagram more than anything. LTexMex, ELTEXMEX, the Texas Mexican.
I love it.
Find me there on Instagram, and then for Twitter is I am Nick Gonzalez.
Great. Well, again, thank you so much, Nick, for joining us tonight. And honestly, we look forward to the finale and what's to come.
We sure do.
And
do.
season 3.
Yeah.
And season 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Have a great night and a great rest of filming.
And your
Thank
week off.
you. Very well.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night.
Bye.
All right.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
That was awesome.
What?
Yeah, all the feels, right?
What wonderful insight.
Yeah.
We just 2 back-to-back shows where we just got incredible insight. The fans got great insight.
Yes.
We are so thankful here at AfterBuzz that we get these opportunities to get these one-on-ones to really talk and digest the shows that we love so much.
Absolutely. And I love the way he spoke about the camaraderie on set and giving a shout out in the thank you to the fans, because we feel that. And because of the way they are, you can tell everyone there truly cares, and they're really deep into the stories, from the writers to the actors to everyone on set, that makes this cohesive thing that is delivered to us every Monday. And it really does feel good. Like, we can tell that they get along really well. So it's nice.
And it shows. Season 3 is
Yeah.
being produced or is coming soon. So yeah, that
Yep.
also shows as well.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of season 3, and I know we already kind of touched on it with Nick, but maybe we should give some more theories about what's to come for next week's episode with our predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Any thoughts? Or did we already all say them?
I know. I can just reiterate, I guess,
Yeah.
that I do think with the new person coming in, there'll be contention between that person. And so I think it might be with Shaun, just because Shaun is different. And I think there will be some adjustments needed there for when the new person comes on cast. I think we are going to get more conversations from Melendez and Lim. And I think we'll probably get Morgan back into the forefront. I don't know what will be going on with her, but I feel like something, maybe the new person that comes in will have some kind of something with Morgan. I don't know. But yeah, that's as far as I got with predictions.
I forgot that they're all under investigation when Nick mentioned that. I was like, oh yeah, you still are, right?
Because it's been such like fun, well, not fun, but it's kind of, it hasn't been at the forefront.
Right. So that person may be coming in to help investigate, be an insider on what's going on. Or maybe that person is going to come back also and for the attendees, Claire, Morgan, and Shaun, to help them get back to the very beginning of the season where Dr. Andrews told them the different things that they need to work on for improvement. So I feel like a bunch of that's going to be mixed in this pot with this next person coming in.
I know we've seen throughout the last few episodes kind of some specific storylines for characters. I'm kind of hoping that we do see a little bit more Melendez and maybe even Dr. Andrews coming up, because I feel like their time is due to get some some of the stories shined a little bit more on them. So I'm really hoping we can see more of that. And I hope everything turns out okay with this new chief of surgery, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, Good Doctor fans, thank you so much for tuning in. As we had mentioned, we appreciate Nicholas Gonzalez for joining us tonight, and we thank you for tuning in. Ladies, where can the fans find you on social media?
Again, I am Taquaila Jackson. You can find me at Taquaila_I am.
And I am Jaimi Alexander, and you can find me on Instagram at Jaimi Alexander.
And I'm Veronica Valencia. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at It's Me, Veronica_V. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to come back next week for an all-new show.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.